Here's how I make a heel foundation for my paracord whips.
To make this, you'll need 25 feet of paracord, artificial sinew, hockey tape, nylon webbing, a stapler with 3/8 inch staples, a pair of scissors, and a hammer. Finally, a lighter or a torch. One with the direct flame is better for this job.
To build up this heel knot, we're gonna need flat braids. If you need to learn how to make a flat braid, Caliber Whips made a good video on it. I'll put a link to his video in the description. So this long one here will be the wrist loop, and the shorter one will be used to cover up the base of the handle. This is an 8-strand flat braid, while this wrist loop is a 5-strand flat braid. And yes, I know traditionally indie whips have 6-plat wrist loops, but for nylon, I find that 6-plat is just way too thick of a wrist loop. It looks awkward. Start off by taking your artificial sinew and tying off the end of your whip.
Doing this prevents the handle from unraveling. And when you go to cut off the excess, be sure to not hit the bellies underneath. Next, take your lighter or torch and melt the base of the handle. This also prevents the handle from unraveling. Next, take your hockey tape and only do 1 wraparound. If you do 2, it'll start to make the base of the handle too thick. And if the foundation gets too thick, it can mess up how many passes you need to do on your heel knot. Take a single piece of hockey tape and wrap it over the top of the heel knot. Cut it and smash it down with your hand.
Let's attach this wrist loop now.
Be sure to place the knot slightly above the hockey tape because we're going to need to cut that off. The hockey tape pretty much outlines where the knot is going to start. Move anything you don't want attached to the whip, like your fingers, and drive 1 staple into the wrist loop.
Then flip it over, and we're gonna do the same. Knot is just a little bit past the hockey tape. Now we're just gonna put a couple more staples in there, just to make sure that this wrist loop isn't going anywhere. Then just hammer them into place. Now we're gonna do the same thing with the 8-plat wrist loop. Same deal, move anything you don't want attached to the whip.
I like to add extra staples on this part.
Grab this, pull down as tight as you can. Lay it down. Put a couple more staples.
Now grab the sinew and wrap it around the heel knot. Be sure to pull very tight on this part. You want this heel knot to be very sturdy because that's the part you're holding when you're cracking the whip. We're doing this step because you don't want the flat braids to completely unravel when you trim them. Use whatever knot you want, but I use 1/2-inch knots to tie off the sinew.
Now we're going to trim up this knot. I'm going to get as close to the sinew as I can without cutting it. Same thing, pull this over. Okay, cut.
And basically, you're going to repeat this step 4 times, making sure to stay as close to the sinew as possible without cutting it. Now we're going to melt the strands. This is where that direct flame comes in real handy. You've got to be very careful on this step. If you're not, you could possibly melt the handle or the sinew. But basically, melt the flat braid strands and push up into the knot. This pretty much builds a shelf, which helps you when you're tying your heel knot, and also it makes everything look cleaner. Now time to use the nylon webbing. I have to cut mine because it's too big and it doesn't really work for this kind of knot. So if you can find some nylon webbing that's about a 1/2 inch thick, then all the better. I'm just placing that webbing in the middle of the knot and stapling it into place. Then I'll wrap the remaining nylon around the knot and hold it just like you see here, and again stapling it into place. Then I'm going to cut off the excess nylon, and again using the torch to stop it from fraying. Then I'll drive as many staples as I can into the knot. And the last thing I do to clean this up is just put a layer of hockey tape over everything. And now this foundation is ready for whatever knot you want to tie on it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this helpful.